Yes, but they're my own original creation. Because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball.
Rachel Zegler is furious. After months of defending Disney's Snow White remake, the internet has turned the movie into a meme, and now entire cartoon studios are mocking it frame by frame. According to reports, Rachel is deeply upset and even considering therapy after watching the backlash explode. But it's not just social media that's targeting her. Animated TV shows, meme channels, and full-blown production houses are all turning the movie into a punchline. Disney made a bold move by recasting Snow White with a modern message and a cast that embraced progressive storytelling. Instead of praise, however, they were roasted. The remake reportedly lost hundreds of millions at the box office, and cartoon studios wasted no time calling it out. Let's break them down one by one, starting with Family Guy. This show has never held back, and when it came to Disney's remakes, they fired the first animated shot before the Snow White drama even hit full swing. In one now viral clip, a frozen Walt Disney is revived in a hospital. The doctor leans over and says,
"Welcome back, Mr. Disney."
Did they stop the remakes?
No.
Put me back in.
One line. Total annihilation. Family Guy was already calling out Disney's reboot obsession before Rachel Zegler even filmed her first Snow White scene. Then came the second jab, far more direct. Peter Griffin walks through Disneyland as a roller coaster dives in the background. What's written under the track? Disney stock? It's subtle but brutal. The visual says it all. Disney's value is crashing, alongside its brand. But the third roast? It hit the hardest. Peter is watching TV when he sees a pretty girl and says, "Wow, that girl is hot." His friend replies, "That's a boy." Then it happens again, and again, until Peter finally screams,
"What is everything?"
Oh, that girl's hot.
That's a guy.
That other guy's handsome.
That's a girl.
That cat is cute.
That's a dog.
What is everything?
It wasn't just a gag, it was a full-blown takedown of Hollywood's obsession with identity confusion and representation-first casting. Family Guy didn't name Rachel, but the message was loud and clear. Audiences are exhausted. And the truth is, Family Guy was just the beginning, because what South Park did next wasn't just a roast, it was an animated nuke. No one was spared, from Kathleen Kennedy to Snow White to Disney's entire boardroom. If Family Guy swung first, South Park dropped the bomb. In their now infamous special, Joining the Panderverse, South Park delivered the most savage takedown of Disney's modern era, and Snow White was one of its biggest targets. The episode features a version of Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm, and one of the key architects of Disney's current direction. She wields a magical artifact called the Panderstone, which she uses to insert diverse, rewritten characters into every franchise. The satire? Absolutely brutal. Every classic movie and series gets rebooted with the same formula. Put a chick in it, and make her gay. That one line, just 8 words, completely torched the strategy behind Disney's live-action reboots.
Is there a problem, people?
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
And yeah, South Park went after Star Wars, but Snow White was right in their line of fire. By then, the backlash around Rachel Zegler had already become a full-blown symbol of how poorly Disney's remakes were being received, even conservative. Commentators like Ben Shapiro weighed in on the episode, calling it one of the most honest things South Park has ever done about Hollywood.
Tell me exactly what it is you're afraid of.
I keep having the same dream. Everywhere I look, people are being replaced.
Okay, and who do you think is going to have you replaced?
Them. The puppet masters. The last time I had the dream, I was walking down the school hallway. And I see Butters. And he's like, "Hey, Eric, you want to see what my mom packed me for lunch?" And that's when I start to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I cared about has been systematically replaced.
And then came the Daily Wire. After watching Disney struggle with Snow White's release, Daily Wire Studios announced they were making their own version, one that would be propaganda-free, not rewritten, and true to the original. Fairy tale. No gender swaps, no political statements. Just classic
Really
Snow
is
White.
the main point. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, the timeless values that we all loved growing up that are sadly being forgotten in this new adaptation. Weird.
The announcement went viral, but then things got complicated. Brett Cooper, the actress originally attached to play the lead, quietly exited the project. No statement, no follow-up, the movie is now stuck in limbo. Still, the teaser alone racked up millions of views, and the audience response was overwhelmingly clear. People are desperate for non-political entertainment again. Whether or not the project gets made, the message landed, and while that was happening, one of the biggest cartoon roasts yet didn't come from a network. It came from a YouTube creator. Beanie Bros, a well-known animation duo, dropped a 60-second parody of Disney's Snow White that quickly surpassed 9 million views. And here's the kicker, it was done in exactly the style Rachel Ziegler claimed she wanted. Gritty, modern, no. Prince, no romance, just a cynical girl boss on a mission. The video opens with Snow White trash-talking the dwarves, mocking the original tale, and demanding a rewrite of her destiny. It's fast, hilarious, and absolutely
Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
Let's see. Excuse me. Your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you? Spare me your white savior complex.
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
I'm really sorry. I was just trying to be kind.
Kind? If you want to be kind, disappear and take the patriarchy with you. Seriously, go away, stalker. You're weird. Weird.
My queen, you're the fairest, but no longer the most evil.
Wait, what?
Ironically, Beanie Bros gave Rachel the movie she said she wanted and still made it look ridiculous. That's when fans started commenting things like, "This isn't a parody, it's exactly what Disney is making." And that's what makes it so savage. So far, Snow White has been roasted by Family Guy, South Park, The Daily Wire, and now YouTube animators. But there's one cartoon studio left that hasn't fired yet, and when they do, it might be the final blow. Because if the Simpsons steps in, it's over. By now, Disney has taken cartoon L's from every direction. Family Guy, South Park, viral YouTubers, even political commentators. But one major player has stayed quiet: The Simpsons. And that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Unlike other shows, The Simpsons is owned by Disney, which means when they roast something, they're technically mocking their own boss. But here's the thing, they've already started warming up. In recent seasons, The Simpsons has taken subtle shots at Marvel fatigue, corporate reboots, and even Star Wars. If you look closely, you'll notice they've been testing how far they can push it without breaking the mouse's leash. And now, with Snow White turning into a meme, the internet is asking, will The Simpsons finally roast Disney's woke era head-on? If they do, it won't be loud. It'll be smart. A quiet, brutal side comment tucked into a couch gag or a blink and you miss it flashback. But when it lands, it'll be final. Because if even Disney's own satire machine turns on them, that's the industry's signal that the audience is completely done, and the pressure's only getting worse. Behind the scenes, Disney is reportedly panicking about its next remake, Tangled. Early reports suggest it could cost up to $500 million, making it the most expensive Disney remake ever. That would be a bold swing. If Snow White hadn't just lost them over $200 million, now imagine pitching that budget. While Rachel Ziegler, the face of the last disaster, is still being rumored for Rapunzel.
Disney might be finally learning their lesson. They are stopping indefinitely the development of a live-action Tangled movie. Now, Disney is not coming forward and saying exactly why this Tangled live-action remake has been halted, but The Hollywood Reporter writes this: the pause occurs in the wake of the rather underwhelming release of Disney's latest live-action adaptation, Snow White. They flopped so hard in Snow White, trying to be brazen and rewrite history and representative of its modern audience, and we all saw how that went. So maybe, if Tangled ever gets picked back up off the cutting room floor, you stick to what Tangled.
Ironically, Beanie Bros gave Rachel the movie she said she wanted, and still made it look ridiculous. That's when fans started commenting things like, "This isn't a parody, it's exactly what Disney is making." And that's what makes it so savage. Disney execs know that's a PR nightmare waiting to happen. One wrong casting announcement, one bad interview, and the internet will start the roast before the trailer even drops. But this goes beyond individual movies. According to multiple reports, Disney has lost close to $900 million across its woke flops in recent years. And analysts aren't blaming the economy, they're blaming creative direction. Even Megyn Kelly did a full segment on it, saying Disney's biggest problem isn't politics, it's arrogance, thinking the audience will show up no matter what, thinking they can replace story with statements and still hit box office gold.
The June Daily Mail reporting on this is looking at an almost $900 million loss right now, following a series of woke flops at the box office. Apparently, there's an analysis out there showing that films like Lightyear, in which they decided to make Buzz Lightyear gay, The Little Mermaid, which is now woke. I'm trying to get the latest one. Elemental, that's one of the ones that includes a non-binary character, which had one of the worst openings ever. Worst opening weekend in company history. We could go down the list.
Ironically, Beanie Bros gave Rachel the movie she said she wanted and still made it look ridiculous. That's when fans started commenting things like, "This isn't a parody, it's exactly what Disney is making." And that's what makes it so savage. And it's not just her. Charlie Kirk called out Disney for playing with the trust of families, saying that the studio has become unrecognizable to the people who grew up with it.
Try not to make a habit, Megan, of rejoicing in the suffering of people or companies. I have suspended that rule. I am loving this bloodbath. I love the misery. I love the suffering, because Disney used to be a wholesome, family-friendly company that made billions of dollars off of families like my own that I grew up in, where my parents trusted Disney. They violated that trust, and they deserve to suffer.
The numbers back it up. Snow White made $184 million on a budget of $270 million. A disaster. And now, every new project, Tangled, Lilo and Stitch, even Hercules, is under the microscope. So here we are, one failed remake, 4 cartoon studios mocking it, millions in losses. And the biggest satirical brand in history, The Simpsons, still waiting in the wings. The only question now is, will Disney course correct or double down? When Family Guy clowns you, it's funny. When South Park nukes you, it stings. When Beanie Bros drops a 60-second YouTube short and it hits harder than your $250 million film, that's a wake-up call. But when will all of them do it in the span of a year? That's not comedy anymore. That's a cultural message, and Disney still doesn't seem to get it. Snow White didn't flop because people hate women, or diversity, or reimaginings. It flopped because it didn't feel like a story anymore. It felt like a press release wrapped in a fairy tale costume. Audiences aren't rejecting change. They're rejecting preachy storytelling that puts a message before magic. And now, the studio that once defined childhood is being roasted on every screen, from network TV to TikTok, to the point where even Disney fans are stepping away. This isn't a one-time backlash. It's a pattern. And unless something changes, it's only getting louder. The fans aren't mad because Snow White evolved. They're mad because it got replaced. So what do you think? Are these cartoon roasts unfair attacks? Or are they just saying what everyone else is thinking? Is there still time for Disney to turn it around? Or are they too deep into the woke era to pull back? Let us know in the comments below. We're watching everything. And if you thought this breakdown was wild, just wait for what's coming next. No princesses, no fairy tales, but just as messy. See you next time.